Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. Uh, this is the Queen himself, and I'm coming to you in the color of pink. Got my rose quartz, my pink centrite, and then I have two negative fighting crystals on today. Um, so I do sound a little different. For one, the pollen. Well, let me not even say that. Long story short, I got attacked by mold, and then after being attacked by the mold that was in a old air condition, then I got attacked by the pollen. So they just attacking me, but anyway, I'm still living, breathing, and without the coronavirus, so I'm feeling good. Besides, stuffy nose, I get it every year. But I want to say, um, the moon, the moon affects a lot of us who are spiritual and in tune with our inner being or spiritual being. And uh, I want to use the moon this time to release some things that I have on my chest, I guess, or have on my mind, so that I no longer feel manipulated by them. I no longer feel hurt by the things that have happened to me. So I want to use the moon and take all of this energy in, all of this great energy, and raise my vibration by talking about something that happened to me in the past. And it's been a long time coming. It's been one of those things that I should have been talked about, but I was afraid. I was afraid of speaking about it. So here goes. Um, a while back, when I was in college, uh, I was dating this guy. And while I was dating this guy, by the way, I do want to say that I won't be using names in this video, and I will only be talking about what happened to me. So, um, as far as I know, no one was affected besides me. And it kind of, this would pinpoint actually where I should have where I should have probably begun my spiritual awakening, but we all write our stories before we are born. So my spiritual awakening is happening like it's supposed to happen. So anyway, this is my story on how I contracted HPV, which is the human papillomavirus. But this is also my story of how I got rid of it too, and my spiritual awakening, and yeah. So anyway, uh, I was dating this guy, and in the midst of me dating this guy, we had only been dating for like 2 months, maybe max, or something like that. It could have been longer. I don't know. I've been out of college. Uh, it has to at least be like six 6 years. I'm gonna say 6 years. And while I was in college, I was dating this guy, and we, girl, it's been a long time, so I gotta remember the story. So let me sit down. Let me sit down. Yeah. So while I was dating this guy, uh, we, girl, my mind went blank. Okay, so yeah, I was dating this guy, and I kind of just want to skip the whole part of me dating him to kind of make like what happened, because it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like the intermediate part of the story to get to the actual grunt part of the story. So anyway, I was dating this guy, got really hurt by him not wanting to be with me, and so basically he told me that we were better as friends. We needed to be friends. He didn't want to hurt me, and I just kind of was. I was at one of those places like, how dare you? Like I was just very like at a place of like just uncaring like of what he had going on, and wherever he was, I wasn't trying to hear it. And so I started I started talking to this other guy, and I don't know how many of you know about tops and bottoms in the gay community, well, in the straight gay, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how many of you know about tops or bottom, but I started talking to this guy on Grinder, which is a gay app, and this guy told me that he was a bottom. So I started communicating with him to kind of get over the guy that I was dating. And, well, not kind of, but I started trying to talk to him to get over the guy. But the guy told me he was a bottom, so I was a bottom too. So I was just like, what we gonna do, bump butts? But it was more or less like, I just felt like, hey, me and this guy can be friends, and that's it. Like, we can be friends, we can go out. And he invited me to this party, and we went to this party. And after the party, I I didn't drink anything but like one shot or two shots of tequila, and he was drinking that night. But I don't feel that he was. I didn't feel that he was. I didn't feel that he was drinking that much, but who knows? It's his body, not mine. So I don't know. Maybe he could have been drinking that much. Um, and so later, later that after he had been drinking, and I only had drunk two shots plus because I was driving. I said, hey, I'm not gonna, like, I'm not gonna drive home, and which we had already discussed it. He said that I could stay at his mom's house or his house, and I didn't know what I was saying, but I brought my blow up bed because I was just at the time I was doing what they call color guard. I was doing color guard, so I was traveling and stuff, and I had my blow up bed, my blow up mattress, and I was planning on blowing it up and sleeping at his house. Well, we got to his mom's house, and that night I just remember going to his house, and I could smell the alcohol on his breath. So maybe he was more drunk than I thought he was, but we he was just like, just don't even worry about blowing your bed up. Like, it's gonna make a whole bunch of noise, and I don't want to wake my mom up. And I could understand that, so I was respectful of that. I didn't blow the bed up, but while I was trying to sleep, um, there like while I was trying to sleep, he just kept messing with me in like sexual ways, like just kept biting on me and trying to get me to take my clothes off. So eventually it led to him taking my clothes off. And I let it happen, but at the same time, I didn't want it to happen because I'm just like, stop, just leave me alone. And instead, I let him take my power, and I just let him take my clothes off. So I was just like, listen, at this point, I think we left the party maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock, whatever. And we got to his house. It's like 3. We're sleeping, and it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and he just keeps waking me up with like biting me. And so the biting just kept getting harder and harder, and he was just like, yeah, I'm a bottom, but like I can please you. And I'm just kind of thinking like, where I was at that point was, if you're a bottom girl, don't touch me. But it was more or less like I was still letting it happen because I was trying to fill a void of being broken up with. And so after that, I end up my clothes. So now like my clothes are off, his clothes are off, but I'm still telling him like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm trying to sleep. I gotta drive in the morning. Like, I have to drive, in not so many hours because it's already 5, 6 o'clock in the morning when this is going on. And so at some point, like, he just kept trying to get on top of me, and then he started performing oral to my booty. But I didn't. At this time in my life, I felt that not washing people from would keep people from wanting to do things to your body, and it didn't stop him. And so, um, long story short, I let him take my power. Like in the middle of the night, in the middle of me sleeping, I just remember that feeling the covers moving up and down. So, I mean, you know what he was doing, because I just told him, just like, just leave me alone. Because he had tried to get on me one time, and I was like, no, like, chill out. And then after that, in the middle of me like sleeping, he performed oral again, and then got on top of me and started, you know, and finished off inside of me. And I just kind of remember like waking up out my sleep, like, what's going on? Because you know when you're asleep, and I'm a hard sleeper, and I was sleeping, and it just felt so unreal, like, to know that someone's violating you as your sleep. And long story short, it happened. I let him take my power, and I wasn't able to say, it's like I had the power to say no, and I still didn't say no. So that's why I don't necessarily call it rape, but in a sense, it is rape because it was unwanted. I didn't want it to happen. But so it happened. I immediately went into the bathroom, started washing, started showering, and then I told him, I said, like, hey, I gotta go. Like, we I wanted to still go eat with this guy because, like, granted, I didn't know this guy. Like, I didn't know much of him. He was on Grindr. I didn't know his full name. I didn't know him. So I got to know him. Um, I was asking him about his status and things like that. He told me that he was negative and negative for all these things. And then I I got back home that night, and I remember talking to one of my friends and telling my friend what happened, and he just asked me, "How did I know? How did I know this guy? Like, how did I find out this guy and this guy?" And I just remember telling him, like, "Hey, I met him on Grindr," and he was like, "This guy has HIV." And so I just remember my heart sinking, and my heart sank so far down into my chest, and I was just, at that point, like, I just wanted life to end for me. And so after that, I went through some years of testing. Went through, like, not years of testing. I went through 4 months of testing, all the while going to school, and so after like my months of testing, and then a year after I got tested again, and I found out that I was negative. But then I noticed the growth on my anus, and I had my aunt look at the bump. She didn't know what it was, and it was like in the inside, and it just was really itchy. And so when I went to the doctor, they said it looked like a wart. And I was like, well, what's that? And then he told me, it was just like many. Then he was telling me what that I was had to get checked for every so often, and I was just like, oh my gosh, another thing. And so then I ended up having to get what I ended up getting a colonoscopy because they wanted to make sure that it wasn't something else. So they did like a biopsy on it, and that's when I found out that, well, they diagnosed me with having Crohn's disease. So once I was diagnosed with having Crohn's disease, I then they told me that not only did I have HPV, but I also had Crohn's disease, and he was saying that the death rate for Crohn's disease wasn't as high as it was, and I'm looking at him like, what? Like, what death rate? Like, what are you talking about? And Crohn's disease does run in my family on the male side. Well, I thought, and so all of this is going on, and I'm in school, and I'm taking tests, and I was telling a couple teachers what was going on. Well, I told my piano instructor actually what was happening, and I just asked her not to tell anybody because it was just one of those things where I just wanted to keep going, even though it was just like, this is really hard. Like, everything that I'm going through is just really hard. I remember praying to God and just saying, God, please give me a sign, and saying, just let me almost hit a deer. I almost hit a deer. And one thing that you should know about the universe is that when you ask for a sign, you'll get it. But I still was untrusting, like, that I was getting these signs, because even after I get the signs, and a lot of people may tell you this, is like, when you get a sign, you'll be like, wait, I need another one. Like, tell me for sure, like, this is for me. And so yeah, so after that, you know I want to get this off my chest, that the friend that was telling me that the guy had HIV, um, I put a lot of trust in him at that time, and this, I love this friend, and this isn't something to say like, hey, like, I'm trying to put you on blast, but it was more or less like, I trusted that friend, and that friend then told other people, and now that friend has HIV, and karma is real, but I also want to say that I have done the same thing to people, so less I'm not less better than that person. I'm not less better than my friend. Like, you know, I got HPV, he has HIV, but the law of karma still worked the same in both of our lives. And I love this friend, and HIV is curable. Uh, it's just a lot of things. From when you have to look into a lot of things of what we eat, because our teeth, ask yourself this, if our teeth are not in the shape of carnivores and our teeth are in the shape of herbivores, why were we taught to eat meat? Um, so anyway, getting past that, because I can do that in a later video, I just want to say, after that, to go to where we are now, I've realized that I then, at that point of that going on, I started really calling on God and saying, God, like, I need you. Please show me, like, give me a sign. And, he was giving me a sign, and I was just like, well, if you just show me one more time, like, I'll start praying every day, and stuff like that. And he gave me the signs that I wanted, but I still then found out that I had HPV. And one thing about it is, when the way the universe works is, you if you feel if you say, hey, the only way for me to be happy is if I get rid of this HPV, then you're not going to get rid of it. Or, I'm not going to say it that way, but the universe, when you ask for things, it doesn't necessarily just, it can just give it to you, but it gives you the experience of getting what you want. So now, moving forward, I've come to the realization that I do not have Crohn's disease, and a lot of people have been asking about my weight loss. I actually went vegan, and me going vegan, it it changed a number of things. For one, it changed how I felt. I feel a lot more energized. I have a lot more energy. Um, the warts just disappeared. They just disappeared. I still get things like this is a hair bump that I have right here, but tea tree oil. I just started putting some on there tonight. Also, they say with genital warts and herpes that you can put turmeric on them. Uh, which I tried to put turmeric on my boils, but they seem to they did go down. They significantly went down, but I heard about the tea tree oil with boils and hair bumps, so I did put that on there. But with me going vegan, the warts that I had just disappeared. Uh, I have a lot more energy. A lot of people would notice that. See, you can see how my hand is shaking. I guess because I'm speaking about something that does have me a little but we're also energetic beings. But anyway, uh, you can see my hand shaking. This one will relatively shake a lot. My left one will, but my right one is pretty steady. But my anxiety got 100 times better. Um, but being an energetic being and who vibrates at a high frequency, I naturally just shake. I naturally shake. I was able to decalcify my third eye, so now I'm able to see things past what everyone else can see. I can see things in the fifth dimension. I can see I can see dead relatives of people, and you know, it's basically being a psychic or being a witch or whatever you want to call it. And I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, well, tell me about me," or "Tell me about me," or "Tell me," and it doesn't. Not saying that it doesn't necessarily work like that, but it's not something that you go to. It's something that you let come to you, and what I've learned is that if you wait patient enough, or if you calm yourself down enough, you get all the answers that you need. And for a long time, I was sleep to being to I was sleep to these things because, for one, I was eating incorrectly. So now, child, it's hot in here. I got the heat. I had the heat on, but anyway, let me open this door. But for one, I am. I went from being 200 and like 252 pounds at one point, or in the 200s, and now when I checked my weight earlier, I'm 177. Yay! No meat, not go meat, but no meat. So now I'm 177 pounds. I do not have warts. Um, all of the things that they said that I couldn't eat is like when they said that that I had Crohn's disease. They said that I couldn't eat cauliflower. They said that I couldn't eat broccoli. They said that I couldn't eat raspberries. They said stay away from citrus. They said stay away from dairy, which is actually true that you should stay away from dairy because think about it this way: we are not born from cows, therefore we shouldn't drink milk from cows. And actually, cows are like a hybrid. Well, not a, I'll say a hybrid only because they're a man-made animal. they are a crossbreed between two type of cattle, and or you can look that up. You can look that up. But anyway, we're not supposed to eat dairy, but I mean, it would just make sense if we are from people, we should drink people milk. Even though it may not taste how we want it to taste, we should drink people milk. And uh, so anyway, once I became vegan and I cut out all of the things that were below a 7 pH balance, or I'm still in the process of leaving everything that's below a 7 pH balance, things just in my body naturally started healing. And if we look into Dr. Sebi's natural cures of removing the body of dis-ease, which is the same as disease, releasing the body of having dis-ease, which is having mucus in our body. Once we remove the mucus in our bodies, then our body can naturally heal. So therefore, with that being said, this is why I'm not afraid of the coronavirus. I'm not afraid of contracting any virus because, for one, I'm not going to contract it because I'm not afraid of it. And everything that we are afraid of, when you are afraid of something, you attract that thing. Just like, for instance, if you think about that person that's really afraid of dogs, and when they're afraid of dogs, what is the first thing that they do? They run. And usually, what does the dog do? It chases them. So, when you're in constant fear and constantly running away from the dog, which is the dog would be the coronavirus, what's going to happen? It's going to chase you. So stop living in fear. And another thing is, when I went to the grocery store, I saw how empty the aisles were of of meat, of meat, and how full the aisles were, the aisles or the places where the fruits and vegetables were. It was very full. And just ask yourself this question: if we have the teeth, like if we have the teeth of herbivores and we eat meat, what does that say that we're doing to our body? So therefore, if we're eating things that we shouldn't eat, our body's then trying to fight the our body's trying to fight the toxins that is being created, and our bodies is trying to fight it off. So therefore, our body's creating a lot of mucus, and disease can only live in that mucus. And so it makes me even question, like, being allergic to pollen, because even though my pollen even though my mucus is very clear, I still think, could disease live in my mucus even though it's clear? Well, I have it in my body, so I guess evidently it can. But even still, I'm not afraid of this COVID-19, or whatever you want to call it. They say that it's less harmful than the flu or whatever. I'm just not afraid of it, and I'm protected always. And I ask the angels to protect everyone that watches this video. I'm sending love and light to everyone who has lost someone to the virus. And I just want to say that I also want to say, like, think about all of the other viruses that have been out, like Ebola. I I was asking my brother tonight, it was like, where did the chickenpox virus go? The chickenpox virus, N1H1, which was like the swine flu. All of these, the measles, and all of these things that they said that they just it just disappeared. They just disappeared. They went into thin air. They no longer were around. Just ask yourself, where did they go? How did they all of a sudden disappear? And think about the way they have all these treatments and very little cures, or the cures are around and not many people can have access to them. And how we take modern day medicine, and this modern day medicine has all these side effects that has, oh yes, we can treat you with this, but you may have you may have cancer from this, or you may have severe headaches, or you may have this and you may have that. I would rather, like I have done, I would rather switch to a pH balanced diet and go on a alkaline water diet for 90 days and cleanse my body than to take medicine or modern day medicine and then have another side effect due to me taking that medicine. And that's just me. That's just me. But I'm living proof that I got I rid myself of warts. Didn't have I didn't have Crohn's disease like they said. And in 2013 I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and now I can eat a full plate of broccoli. I can eat raspberries. I can eat the things that they said that I couldn't eat, except for the things that I'm just not going to eat. Like, I'm not going to eat dairy. I'm not going to eat meat because I know what it does to my body. And I just want to say, do your research. Do your research. Look at our teeth. Look at the teeth of carnivores. Look at our molars. Look how they're shaped. Look how the teeth of carnivores are shaped. And you see your dog's teeth, and our teeth aren't like pointy like that. They're like, ah, ah. They're not like that. They're more flat. And yes, we have like the front of our teeth are more, I guess you would say, for grinding, for ripping and shredding, but that's not for meat. We have the teeth of herbivores. And I did a lot of research, did a lot of natural remedies, and I'm just not living in fear anymore of what people are going to say about me. I forgive myself for feeling these things. I forgive anybody that feels like they hurt me, but I'm not hurt by the things that people have done to me because they have made me stronger. And I want everybody else to feel that way too. Ciao. It's getting hot in there. I had to come out of there. But I just want everyone else to feel great and be the loving energies that we are. You know, every day I wake up with this undone head, undone eyebrows, and undone shaved face, and I feel great about myself. Why? Because I'm not trying to please anyone except for myself. I don't go out here in search of trying to make anyone else happy. Yes, there are times when I say, hey, like, it would be nice to have someone around. But at the same time, I'm still in search to make myself whole and love myself first. And that's what I'm doing. I'm loving myself first. I'm learning how to fully get in touch with white that white light that's inside of me. And I I don't have to prove to anyone that I have abilities to do things, because I've already showed so many people and I've helped so many people. And even in the midst of me helping others, I still doubted myself. So I'm doing this video not for anyone else, not just for other people. I'm gonna say that I'm not doing it just for other people, but I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing this video for other people and me. And this video is a long video, but I'm going to upload it just the way it is, because I believe in authentic, authenticity, authenticity, authenticity. There we go. I believe in that above anything, and I believe when you can get in front of the camera and just be yourself, that makes a bigger and better video than all of the extra stuff that people are going to put in it to make them seem glamorous. This isn't about being glamorous. This isn't about making money. This is about spreading my light to other people and saying, "Hey, this is real. This is real. This is reality. This is what's really going on." And you know, do your research. Do 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 your research. Meditate. I'm still learning to try to meditate every day. I'm still learning to meditate every day. And you know, I guess I kind of need to wrap this video up. And it's kind of getting long. And I just want to say much love to all. Much love to all. I love everyone, even the people that I don't know, because that's what's going to make us stronger. Not living in fear. So, love, peace, and hair grease. Bye, you guys.